description, you sound a genius. So there you go. So that is your style button right there. Yes?
I don't know if I missed this at the beginning, but part of the problem with doing some of these filters is if it's not in the MLS, it's not gonna come through to what the results are. So if we put in, you know, a twin semi-detached or whatever, if it's not actually in the wording of the MLS, it's not going to
Right.
filter into our results.
There's also, usually it's whatever the agent puts in is helpful.
Right.
Or we're going to go to remarks in a moment. Many times an agent,
I do a lot in that.
good. Now that hopefully will make life a little easier for you sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, I've even noticed if they put, like if I'm looking for an in-law suite, it says in-law suite in here.
Sure.
If they didn't put suite in and only put in-law, it's
Yeah.
not coming up.
Try the wild card. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
All right.
So let's go down to the bottom here. So we got their styles, we're good. So let's bring that in right now. So down below, every one of you should have, below this orange little banner, you've got additional fields to add and remove. Please add remarks, because as we were just talking, many agents don't know where to put things, and they will put those in remarks. So in the search box, start typing REMARKS, remarks, highlight available fields, remarks, click the add button. I already have it in here, but it will appear under your selected fields. And then go back, and it is permanently there. And here's how you search for remarks, using that trusty dusty, is that a word, asterisk. So click on that gray circle, and it tells you, it will look for public remarks, agent remarks, office remarks, and green remarks. Using the asterisk, you can enclose a word like solar, asterisk, solar, asterisk. It will search every one of those fields looking for whatever word or words you're looking for.
Whoa.
If you do the asterisk after the word, it will search the entire section that begins with whatever word you have in there. Or the asterisk before the word searches the entire section that ends with it. So it's a nice little feature that, as we just discussed, sometimes agents have no idea where to put things. So remarks is a big field.
I was actually searching for 3 garages.
3 garages?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good example.
it's a good example. So play around with that. A couple more tips. So let's do a search. I want to show you some things that are very, very helpful. Let's just use Langhorne. Let's just use Langhorne Borough. It doesn't really matter. I'm going for active listings. I get to, well, let's go a little bit more than that. Okay, I have 5 results. I go to my results screen, and by default, I have the agent 1 line up here. Let's say I would love to have days on market. I would love to be able to see days on market. You will notice this little grabber, looks like a snowflake. I'm moving along. So I want to get into one of these areas, and I left click on that. It now allows me to insert a column. I then have many choices. So let's say I type DOM for days on market. I click on that, I highlight it, and I apply it. I now have days on market. I can bring in many, many, many fields if I have room. And then if I want to make this my default, let's say, well, I'd love to keep that for every single time. Under the word results is a gray circle. If I left click on that gray circle, click inside that box, that will be a permanent default for me. Makes it nice and simple, so every time I have days on market, I want that there. I can also move this. I grab it, move it over here. Isn't that nice? Very helpful. Or if I get tired of it, I then get that little grabber, and I can remove the column and make that my new default. So that should be very helpful. Another thing is, under search, let's look for some search active under contracts, and this happens a lot. Let's say we're looking for either a specific property or just property in Langhorne, and I have active under contract. I have none there. Let's just go to Newtown. Somewhere there's more, probably. Newtown. Okay, great. I'm looking for just active under contracts. I want to see what those conditions are, those contingencies. So I have 13 matches. I click on results, and what I can do is I go to agent full, and I bring it up as a full listing. I scroll all the way down to the bottom, and this will tell me the contingency type is home inspection on this one. Makes it really nice, and I can just continue going next and do that all the way down and see what that is, financing approval. So if you're looking at a property, you're not sure what those conditions are, you don't feel like calling the listing agent, bring it up. It will tell you what the listing agent put in there as the reason for active under contract. Any questions? Gave you a lot of stuff. Everybody good?
What's the best way to comps.
Best way to pull comps?
Yeah.
Well, always go to search, residential sale, clear it, and then if you're looking for, let's just pick Newtown because we had some data there. So Newtown Township, then go to active. You might want to do active under contract. Probably wouldn't use cancel. That doesn't really give you a real good thing, but close will because, let's talk about that. By default, we have 0 to 180. Why would we have 0 to 180 for closed transactions? There's a reason that's in that timeline. That's 6
Usually
months, right?
Appraisers won't go further
Perfect.
back than that.
Perfect. 6 months is usually the appraisal window. Sometimes if they can't find a comps, they will go out to a year. And the other important thing about appraisers is if you have a subdivision, they have to count that subdivision. If there are comps in there, they won't go out wandering across the street, maybe a higher or lower end subdivision. So be careful with that. And sometimes you'll find no comps. That comes up, you know. So now you got to do what's called a WAG. You know what that is? That's an appraisal term for wild ass guess. So you just have to play detective. You got to just get in there and just work it through. Work it through. Coming soon. You want to know that? I'm just moving around longer. I'm being recorded. Coming soon. You want those too, right? Because they're coming on the market. That's competition. Expired's important also. Why didn't it sell? Let's use those comps. So you see, you got active under contract, closed, coming soon, expired. Pretty good reason, maybe pending too. And then narrow it down because here's the, when you do a CMA, as you probably know if you've done CMAs, you want to do less is best. You give them too much information, what happens? They get confused.
Yeah.
What happens when they're confused? They're not going to sign anything. They need to think about it, need to talk about it. So get in there as precise as you can, and hopefully that will. My #1 suggestion is always go to public records. Make sure you have the owners, make sure you have the property, and before you even get out there, and I do a CMA workshop, it's usually about an hour, hour and a half. Most important thing is get all the information before you even go. Get everything you possibly can, and then when you get there, you'll either be surprised or convinced that they told you the truth. Is that what you're laughing about?
No.
Okay. Anyway, any other questions? You want to share what was funny? Because I'm interested too.
No.
Okay. All right, gang. Anything else? Everybody good? Gave you a lot of information. Let's recap. Let's go back here under news. Go to conversion information, right? Spend some time, please, 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 on this screen. You will really find some great things. Go to Bright MLS on YouTube. Some great little videos on articles on how to do things. And you should be very bright people in a week or so. Hopefully sooner. Any other questions? Usually about now I get a standing ovation. No, I'm just kidding. Good seeing you all. Thanks for coming.
you.
And I will come back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, thank you. I got a sitting ovation. I'll take that. Thank you.